They finished voting in Switzerland, where people have been deciding whether to rein in the country's open-door policy to EU migrants. It's a controversial vote. To maintain its neutrality, it says. Switzerland is not a member of the EU, but it has long-standing agreements with the Union, and this vote is seen as a test of those ties. The referendum needs more than 50% to pass, and it is expected to be close. So, what is behind this referendum? Supporters of a growing anti-immigration movement argue that Switzerland's being swamped by migrants from the European Union, and that heaps pressure in turn on infrastructure and on housing. But the Swiss government and business interests say closing the door to EU migrants would be disastrous for the Swiss economy. A yes vote would backtrack on a deal with the EU, which was signed off by Swiss voters in the year 2000. But back then, the forecast was for about 8,000 new EU migrants each year. Current estimates from those championing the referendum say the numbers are now 10 times that, about 80,000. Let's talk to Jordan Davis, journalist with Radio Television Suisse, joining us now live from Geneva. Clearly things have changed in the course of the last 10 years. So what is the general sentiment here in Switzerland about so many migrants coming in each year?
Well, it really has had people talking, and we see clearly a country split 50-50 right now. The projections as the votes are being counted are about 50-50. It's going to be extremely close today, and indeed there's been a lot of passion growing among people, seeing lots of what used to be unqualified workers who worked sort of as janitors or fruit pickers, but now more and more these migrants who are coming to the country are highly skilled, perhaps better skilled than Swiss people, people from Germany, people from France, and that has definitely made certain people, especially in areas of the country where there hadn't been much immigration previously, begin to really see personally close up that there is a changing face of immigration, and that definitely has increased certain anxiety among people.
Yeah, I mean, generally the picture of Switzerland is of a very peaceful country, cowbells, green pastures, but there is high unemployment, isn't there?
There's extremely low unemployment. It's 3.5% in December, and that is some of the paradox in this, is that there's a huge worry about European workers taking Swiss jobs, but in fact there are huge sectors of the economy that are extremely dependent on these European workers. I mean, the hospital here in Geneva, for instance, would probably shut down if French workers all tomorrow had to leave. And it's the same thing in much of the country. I mean, you see in the Swiss-German part of the country as well, lots of German doctors, because Switzerland doesn't train enough. So it is quite a paradox in that it's very difficult to say on a large scale that these European workers have taken Swiss people's jobs.
Yeah, so the unemployment rate officially is low, but it may be that Swiss people aren't getting the jobs that they want. What do you think, Jordan, are the ramifications of this for Switzerland's relationship with the rest of Europe?
Well, and that is going to be the really key thing, because how is the federal government going to react? In the initiative that is being voted on today, that has been voted on today, it calls for Switzerland to go and renegotiate the Free Movement of People Accord with the European Union. It's unclear if the European Union is going to want to do that. The indications from several EU commissioners up to this point have been saying that they don't want that. And it's very unclear what will happen. And this is probably the biggest question, is what are going to be the concrete effects of this? But we do can imagine that this is going to sour some relations with the European Union. Switzerland is trying to negotiate other bilateral treaties with the European Union right now. There were some key meetings on that this week, and clearly if there's a no to, if there's a yes to this initiative today, that could really put future negotiations on ice.